Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover 120 here, and welcome to part 2 of yesterday's video. So yeah, this is once again another movie review. This is continued on from episode 3 I did yesterday, or uploaded yesterday night. And now we are pretty much going... I forget what I'm saying, but... Anyway, this is for Underrated Gems, the newest film to have come out. That's, of course, a sequel to the film I reviewed yesterday, and that is Sing 2. So, yeah, the sequel is going to be the second half of the episode I did yesterday, because I thought, it'd be more creative if episode 3 was both the films, instead of just episode 4 being the other, episode 3 being one film, and episode 4 being the second film. It'd be kind of a little cliche at this rate. So I thought, episode 3 would be better as a two-parter to include both films in entirely one episode. But yeah, with that being said, let's get on with this review. Well, what's this film about? Well, with the theatrical company a local success, Buster Moon is now thriving with a new theater and is dreaming of bigger things. Unfortunately, when a talent scout dismisses their work as inadequate for the big time, Buster is driven to prove her wrong. With that goal in mind, Buster inspires his players to gamble everything to sneak into a talent audition in Red Shore City for a demanding entertainment mogul. Against the odds, they catch his interest with some frantic creative improvisation and even more desperate lies, like personally knowing a reclusive rock star who has not been seen in 15 years. Now faced with a tight production window with only a vague story idea and dire consequences for failure, Buster and his friends must all stretch their talents to put on a show against all odds. In that struggle, the game's challenges seem insurmountable, but each of them finds new inspirations and friends where they least expect them to pursue an artistic dream worthy of them. So how was this film made? Well, around January 25th, 2017, Universal Pictures and Illumination announced a sequel to its 2016 animated film, Sing, to be into development. And writer-director Garth Jennings, producers Chris Meledandri, Janet Healy returned alongside the voiceover stars from the first film. And around December 2020, some new actors such as Bobby Cannavale, Latita Wright, Eric Andre, Chelsea Peretti, and longtime Illumination collaborator Pharrell Williams, Bono, and Halsey were added to the voice cast. Work on the film shifted due to the COVID-19 pandemic and was done remotely following the temporary closure of Illumination McGuff. The scope of the theater in the finale was a major stepping stone to take over 10,000 animals for the crowd department. Old and new ones, designed by a longtime Illumination artist, Oregon, who not only worked on Sing, but have designed the new characters in the sequel, the fashion brand Rodado designed some of the costumes used in the film as well. So, after filming the whole film, or animating the entire thing, Sing 2 had its world premiere at the AFI Fest last year on November 14th, 2021. And was actually released in the United States last Christmas on December 22nd, 2021. In the United Kingdom earlier this year, back in January 28th this year, by Universal Pictures. The film managed to gross under $406 million worldwide against a production budget of $85 million, becoming the first family film since Frozen 2 to cross the 100 million milestone, both worldwide and domestically. It became the highest grossing animated film of 2021 and the 10th highest grossing film of 2021. When it comes to the reviews have been about the same as the first film with critics. However, quite a few more people liked this way more than the first film, especially for a studio whose track record for sequels never works out. And what's more, this was their next film after the failure of Secret Life of Pets 2 back in 2019. When it comes to me, I am also one of the people that also likes this film way more than the first film. Because in this movie, there's much more stakes this time around. One of my big problems with the first one is that there was barely any stakes for much of the group's competition performance in the first one. There wasn't really much stakes, so unless you can count a game of bears that Mike put himself in, or a bank representative doing her job, but that was it. There's an even bigger and better location, better songs, some much better character development even, especially with some of the new characters. And needless to say, this is actually my all-time favorite film from Illumination. Yeah, sorry, Despicable Me fans, but like this was better than the first. This was not only better than the first one, but also just the animation. It's even more amazing this time around. Like, it looks so real, even the whole city, the anthropomorphic animals. It's hard to believe that it's animation. Just incredible work, beautiful colors, and so much detail. Like, there will be times you'll want to pause to see everything, and the work here is something to be very appreciated. And plus, watch the little details too. When a character moves an eye or hand, little gestures, so much work was put into everything. The movement of the characters is just spectacular in every way. But the script is even great, and one of the best cast animated films for sure. Everyone was great, the music was great, the direction was wonderful, and and I think it's kind of just one of the better computer animated films to not be from Pixar in like quite a long time too. Like during this kind of era, there's been usually some computer animated films that may have some great animation, but they have a boring script, or vice versa. But this kind of has everything. Usually, this studio, with the exception of only Despicable Me 2 at the time, in some way, have a tendency to mess up sequels. And they didn't with this one. Almost one Almost all of the characters are once again easy to like, except for one certain antagonist, and some I will get to in a bit. And I think most of you know who I'm going to be talking about. And the story is simply yet somewhat interesting. I'm never one to laugh at a movie, ever, but I honestly thought it was quite embarrassing how much I laughed during the funny parts. Like, some of the plays were a little dry, but the goods completely surpassed the very little bad things. And somehow felt like a big change in almost everything from the story and songs to the character development and animation. I really like how before the movie, the Illumination logo is a little different from the previous films. Rather than just always constantly having the minions appear in front of the logo during the opening, they pretty much sing their own language with the Illumination logo appearing at the very top above the minions. And then it shuts off at the last minute. And even though the minions have gotten really annoying over years, this was kind of still interesting to see what Illumination did with the logo. And maybe maybe some of the companies next to the films could have characters from a different movie doing what the minions did in prior films. Or unless this ends up being just a de facto variant. But whatever. This was actually pretty creative. And while, yes, I know there are also some people that say this movie feels like kind of a rehash, and while, yeah, it does at certain parts, it doesn't make those moments overly obvious, unlike a lot of sequels that tend to do this. Like, for example, it actually kind of picks up where the first film ended by showing signs of continuity from the first film. Like, we all remember when Nana helped Buster buy the lot in the first movie before the theater was rebuilt, and she actually appears as a side character in the beginning of the movie, so at least she's not rejected from the film. She's even the one who encourages Buster to go recruit his friends from the first movie and go to Red Shore City. And the beginning of the movie is quite mysteriously good and atmospheric as well. Like, it even starts off with Mina, who appears to be in the woods. She then falls and sees a small door, but then you realize the entire opening is just a performance based off of Alice in Wonderland. The movie even includes multiple cameos from characters who appeared in the first movie, like, for example, the J-pop singing band of Red Pandas, who made several appearances in the first movie, make an appearance in the scene where Ash performs in a rock venue. And thankfully, it's their only appearance in the film. At least, and the film also provides many good morals, such as, for example, do not give up working hard at your dreams, hiding does not help, dealing with loss, disappointment, and grief as it's never the end of the world. Music can even heal a broken heart. What I also really like with this sequel is that the first film did have some pretty serious moments, and Illumination actually did not abandon the serious moments in the first film had. In fact, I think this movie has even more of those moments than the first film ever did. Heck, this movie gets really dark at times too. Like it gets quite a bit dark in the second half, and there's not even a single minion-related antic in this movie, like with a lot of this company's films. You even get this great scene near the end of the movie where Johnny actually gets to reunite with his dad from the first movie. It's also touching, but also becomes hilarious when after the gorilla gang gets to be the security guards. But good qualities aside, no. Oh wait, no, wrong part. I actually have one more good quality I forgot to mention. But now let's get to the best character in this movie, and that's Clay Calloway, who's voiced by U2 lead singer Bono. Clay Calloway is a very terrific new addition to the cast, and while he doesn't have much scenes, his backstory is very engaging, too, as a retired rock star who used to be a player until his wife died, and apparently it's been very hard to get Clay back in the spotlight due to his trauma, but he eventually warms up, and after learning about Buster attempting to escape Red Shore City after he's nearly killed, he's even says to him that he should never run and hide as he did after losing his wife. And now that's a perfect way to add a backstory to a character that never does music anymore. Something I wish DreamWorks should have did with their attempt in Trolls at this kind of thing. However, even though this is my favorite Illumination film, now get on with the bad qualities, because I still have some criticisms with this. Let's start with our most obvious number one criticism. And that is our villain of the movie, Jimmy Crystal. Now, there's thankfully no picture of him on the Blu-ray cover, thankfully, or poster. So, I'm going to show a picture of him right beside me for this next part. This is what he looks like. Basically, this guy is evil because he only cares about his reputation and doesn't want anybody make him look like a fool, especially his very own daughter. What's worse is that in some clips of him on YouTube in the comments sections, you might even see some people defending his actions all because he was lied to. Granted, yeah, Buster shouldn't really have lied again, but just about everything Jimmy does in this film in the second half is no better. Just look at this picture. Yeah, this totally looks like a guy who's been victimized. Just, like, not even his own picture they make him look likable. And what's further proof? Just look at these clips alone.
Mommy Pig's gonna pull this off? Mommy Pig? No one makes me look like a fool! No! He fired my daughter? My daughter? Would you be quiet? You've embarrassed me enough!
But Daddy!
Now the whole world thinks I got a talentless loser for a daughter!
I delivered a great show! And Cat Calloway, he's coming! No, stop! Stop! No!
Oh, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, guys, there's a difference with not doing much of anything and being victimized, and a difference with being a mentally unstable and abusive jackass. Not even anyone who's actually this sane that actually does get victimized would attempt to kill the person for doing so. Not even I would try to kill people who disagree with my opinions. Like, holy hell. Anyway, let's just move on with the next bad qualities. And also, for some reason, Eddie and Mike don't really appear in this movie. Like, with Mike's case, it's obvious because he got in trouble with a group of bears due to his ego, and possibly skipped town or had been eaten. And most likely because Seth MacFarlane couldn't really come back because he was busy working on Family Guy and American Dad. However, Eddie's case is kind of notable because since while Nana appears, he isn't even mentioned at all. Outside a brief cameo on a magazine cover, and that's about it. And they didn't even give him a reason why he's even absent. Maybe it could be a way trying to rebuild his life or do more with his life, but they could have explained why he wasn't in the film. Would have rather they said a reason. And also, some character designs are used a little too much like its predecessor, such as some turtles that appear in this movie, but this is common with a lot of Illumination's movies, however. And finally, despite being executed well, its plot does feel somewhat similar to the first film. However, like I said, the rehash moments don't overcloud the film. It's kind of like how Home Alone 2 rehashes the first film, where it is still a rehash, except it does more different settings and goals. Despite the bad qualities, Sing 2 is still my favorite film from Illumination, and easily will never be topped by their future projects. When it comes to that Mario movie, I know they're doing, guys, but I'll judge it when I see a trailer, but I don't have too much hope for it, to be fair. Because, Mario is not a character who talks, And we remember when we got a live action movie of Mario in 1993 and it failed. So I don't predict this movie really succeeding either because instead of using the video game voice actors, instead we're getting a whole cast of celebrities for it. And that doesn't sit well with me. I mean, and you can say, like, Sonic uses celebrity voice actors for Sonic and Knuckles, yeah, but the difference is, the reason why you can make a Sonic movie is because Sonic is a character who talks, as do the rest of his pals. So, at least you have a reason to make a Sonic film. And I don't think this Mario movie is even going to top the Sonic movies at all. No way. And I'm just not a big Mario fan in general. I mean, I played some of the games, but I was never really too big of a fan of Mario. I was more of a Sonic guy as a kid. But anyway, when I see a trailer for Mario, I'll decide my thoughts. Anyway, that's it for my review of Scene 2, and here's how I'm going to rank it. So overall, if you want to see Illumination finally try for once with one of their films and see the effort that they secretly do have be used for a change, and that would give this movie a watch and buy for your kids' collection for those who do have any kids. And if you're wondering how I'm going to rank Scene 2, I'm going to give Scene 2 a 9 out of 10. There we go. That's it for Episode 3 of Underrated Gems. That's it for my review of both the films. And, what else I could think? Well, I do have some things to announce for May. Well, in May, I'm going to be reviewing all the Jurassic Park movies because we have Jurassic World Dominion coming out this June. So I'll be reviewing all 5 of the movies. So, yeah. As some of these movies, this is going to be my first time rewatching them because there were 2 films in this franchise I only saw once. But for those of you that obviously should know, Jurassic Park is easily my favorite dinosaur movie of all time. When it comes to the sequels, my opinions vary. Jurassic The Lost World, I do decently enjoy, not as good as the first one, but it's still a pretty good sequel. Jurassic Park 3 can go fuck itself, because I hate that piece of shit. And then, of course, Jurassic World is also a very phenomenal movie, and a good way to revive the franchise. And then you got Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which was, I saw that movie in theaters, and I was not a big fan of it. And I haven't rewatched it since, so when I review Fallen Kingdom, this is going to be my first time rewatching that movie in a while. I barely even remember it either. But until then, guys, that'll be it for this episode. Thank y'all for watching. And if you like this and want to see more, then don't forget to like, subscribe to Movie Lover 120.